Mr. King, the floor is yours, please.
Honorable Minister, my name is Henry John Amako, Nigerian High Commissioner to Salone. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Thank you. My name is Angela, Ghana High Commissioner.
Good morning. Good morning, Foreign Minister and Vice Chairman of the British High Commission.
David Reimer, U.S. Ambassador.
Babatunde Ahansi, UN Resident Coordinator.
Good morning, Minister Mal, European Union Good morning everyone. I'm Jason, Embassy of Germany, Good morning, Excellency. I'm Charlie Press, I don't know. Good morning, my name is Ben Brogo, I'm Shmajula Press, two members.
Good morning, Your Excellency. Thanks for the support to the members of
Good morning, my name is Khalid Sadati, Ambassador of Iran, Istanbul.
Good morning. My name is Prime Minister of the Chamber.
My name is Mahmoud Selim Ortak, First Secretary of the Turkish Embassy.
Good morning, Honorable Minister.
Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mr. Timothy Papa, Honorable Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mrs. Frances Agali, senior government officials here present, Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, colleagues of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. My task here is very brief this morning. I am the Director General Ambassador at Large, Victoria Sulaimani. So, as your host ministry, we have the honor to welcome you to this interactive and inaugural meeting with our newly appointed Minister of Foreign Affairs and her able deputy. This meeting actually has been set up at the behest of the Minister. He wants to have an interactive engagement with members of the diplomatic community here in Freetown because we consider you as one of our major constituents. So at this meeting, we'll be hearing from the Minister. There will be a lot concerning the achievements of His Excellency during the past administration and what he's bringing to the table during the second leg of his administration as President of the Republic of Sierra Leone. So I want us all to have this engagement under a very relaxed atmosphere, very friendly and cordial atmosphere. So I don't want to be taking much of your time because I don't want to take anything out of the mouth of my minister. He will be giving a comprehensive briefing on what he's bringing to the table and what will be collectively achieved together supporting our President Julius Maada Bio for his successful tenure as President of this great republic. So without taking much of your time, I want to thank you all for honoring our invitation at a very short notice. And I want to hand you over now to the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs who will deliver his statement. Thank you.
A very good morning to all of you, colleagues, Madam Deputy Minister, Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Director General and Ambassador at Large, Dr. Kande Oleyunkela, Chairman for Presidential Initiative on Climate Change and Food Security, Excellencies, distinguished members of the press. It is indeed a great pleasure to welcome you all this morning and to be able to formally meet you as distinguished members of the diplomatic community. I thank you for being here. Let me start by saying that I am grateful to His Excellency Dr. Julius Maada Bio, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, who has again placed his confidence in me at this very critical juncture to serve as Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation with my deputy, Mrs. Frances Algali, in his new administration. Although this is my first official meeting with you as the diplomatic corps, I would like to take this opportunity to also thank those embassies and high commissions who made deliberate efforts to pay individual courtesy calls since my assumption of office. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, firstly, the people of Sierra Leone, or each one of the countries and governments that you represent, a debt of gratitude and deep appreciation for the support that you have given Sierra Leone over the years, and more particularly during these unprecedented and challenging times that we are all going through. His Excellency's first time in office, the SLPP government embarked on a human capital-driven development model outlined in our medium-term National Development Plan of 2018-2023, with a strong commitment and emphasis on education for development. With your support of our government's development aspirations, we substantially increased investment in educating future generations of this country, improving healthcare systems, addressing poverty and unemployment, empowering women and youth, protecting the environment, mitigating public safety and disaster risk, and opening investment ecosystem. Our government also made remarkable strides in tackling corruption and deepening democratic governance, as well as promoting reforms to strengthen government effectiveness, regulatory quality, and the rule of law, as reflected in our meeting of international benchmarks, such as the MCC scorecard and the Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative requirements. Another significant achievement of the BO administration is our Radical Inclusion Program launched in 2018, with the government allocating an unprecedented 22% of the national budget to education, representing one of the largest percentage funding commitments in the world, and that doubled our percentage allocation in 2016. For us, educating the girl child was a central component of the Radical Inclusion Program, with the passing into law of the Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment Act of 2022. Gender equality is now firmly on our national agenda. This is evident in the recent general elections, which witnessed a commendable 15% increase in women's representation, with 30.4% of directly elected representatives now being women. These development gains are a product of deliberate choices made by the government and the sustained support from you, our bilateral partners. In presenting its new direction agenda, consolidating the gains and transforming the lives of the people of Sierra Leone, President Bio's ambitious vision for his second term in office aims to build on these gains and encapsulate the spirit of progress to seize newfound opportunities while confronting emerging challenges and propelling Sierra Leone towards middle-income status by 2030. It is not a question of denying the existence of the profound challenges that our nation faces, which obviously persist, ladies and gentlemen. The fact is that Sierra Leone, under the leadership of His Excellency President Dr. Julius Maada Bio, is now on the path of solutions profiled in our Big Five game changes, namely Fit Salone, Human Capital Development, the Youth Employment Scheme, revamping of the public sector architecture, technology and infrastructure initiative. Homing in on President Bio's flagship program to Fit Salone within the next 5 years, as a government, we're determined to achieve an agricultural production that, besides being able to feed the nation, has the mark of sustainability. To respond to this clarion call, it would not be enough to just talk to other countries and solicit support. This is the minimum. It is the soul of our business as the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It is now necessary, as we note, to go further, opening new opportunities for collaboration and cooperation. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, Sierra Leone achieved a significant milestone on the 6th of June this year, when it was overwhelmingly elected to a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council for the period 2024 to 2025. This is a hallmark of our transformation into a liberal, progressive, and democratic nation. A nation which will now have a say on global peace and security issues. We recognize that we would not have been around that strategic table without the support of our bilateral partners. We are very grateful for the golden trust and support which you gave us when Sierra Leone was actively engaged in its shuttle diplomacy. Be assured that we would strongly consider reciprocating on a bilateral basis. As Sierra Leone prepares to shadow at the UN Security Council come October 1, we will continue to count on your bilateral support. As one of the representatives of Africa on the UN Security Council, we will engage and promote constructive dialogue and negotiations, as well as enforcement of constitutional rule of law and the way forward for inhibiting future coups threatening the peace, security, and stability of our sub-region. In solidarity with the ECOWAS bloc, Sierra Leone continues to call for the restoration of constitutional order in Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, and the Republic of Guinea. Excellencies, Sierra Leone has successfully transitioned from a state of the just war context to a developing and peaceful nation. It is therefore our primary aspiration to enjoy sustained peace and coexistence. In the June 24th general elections this year, citizens of this country once again demonstrated public trust and confidence in His Excellency by voting him as their president. As a constitutionally elected government, which is now fully operational, we are pleased that the election of President Bio has received global endorsement. We have received congratulatory messages from many heads of government and multilateral institutions, including the United Nations, African Union, ECOWAS, and the Commonwealth, among others. In a compelling and competitive democracy, all actors should have access to unrestricted space. This is what the SLPP government practiced during the recently concluded multi-tier June 24th general elections. However, our good practice may not have been good enough for the opposition. And as a government, we acknowledge that in a healthy democracy, collaboration, agility, care, communication, and acting for the common good is absolutely necessary. This is why, at the state opening of the 6th Parliament of the Republic of Sierra Leone, His Excellency President Bio publicly stated his intention to set up the National Electoral Systems Review Committee to assess the planning and management of the 2023 electoral cycle. The National Electoral Systems Review Committee, when fully constituted, opposition, political parties, broad membership of the government of Sierra Leone, development partners, civil and professional organizations will all be members of that particular review committee. The key deliverable of the review committee will be an electoral systems review report that will lay the foundation for critical reforms in the electioneering process, with reference to the Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone and all other election management bodies in the country. This move builds on President Bio's tradition of supporting electoral reforms. You could recall that in 2018, we inherited about 104 consolidated electoral recommendations, of which we have actually implemented over 70%, with most of the remaining ones, including those requiring referendum, will be addressed during the country's constitutional review process. For us as a government, we believe that reforms are actually the oxygen which sustains political systems, and we are committed to progressive reforms. You see, Your Excellencies, we respect diversity of political ideologies and firmly believe that such diversity of thoughts and actions are important building blocks for peace and prosperity. We also recognize the inclination for political actors to trigger hard conversations, especially when interests seem to sway. However, our call to service should see us putting our sovereign nation's interests above all else. Nevertheless, it does not have to be your way or my way. What guides us fundamentally are our shared values and common interests. In the name of these interests and values, dialogue is essential, and we will continue to employ dialogue as the most effective diplomatic method. It is a tried and tested method which opens progressive opportunities for arrangements and convergences. My commitment, in short, is to engage Sierra Leone in an intense international cooperation effort without exclusions, to open new paths of diplomatic relations, embracing these diverse interests and ideologies. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, to conclude, let me reiterate that my primary role is to build bridges and strengthen our existing partnerships. You are our valued partners in the development of our country. In my humble self and the government of His Excellency, you will find reliable, honest partners. I want to affirm our commitment to continue working with you for the enhancement of our relations and for a fairer, safer, and more compassionate world.
It is here and discharging our duties as ambassadors and head of missions. To consolidating on the policies and programs of the government. By your speech today, we have no doubt that the government of Sierra Leone is still open and still have. It is on this note that we, the diplomatic community, we also assure you that ours is always to create a very good room for cooperations, a very good room for partnership, and adding value, not just value, but positive value, wherever we find ourselves. I know my colleagues here have one or two things to say or to add based on what they have listened to today. But I want to assure you, we'll continue to add positive value in the course of discharging our duties, and we'll continue to make the points clear whenever and wherever we feel deemed necessary that we're supposed to call your attention in order to get things done right. We love your spirit, which you are calling for peace in Africa. We love your spirit, particularly in the areas of the human capital development, which this government still wants to sustain. Areas of girl-child education. We have key interests, and also the area of health. Honorable Minister, distinguished colleagues, it is on this note that I want to raise my case and allow my amiable colleagues to add one or two words to this noble meeting at the instance of the Honorable Minister. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, High Commissioner of Ghana and Dean of the Diplomatic Nigeria. I'm so sorry. Dean of the Diplomatic Corps. Yes, you have spoken from your heart, representing the diplomatic community. Because Honorable Minister, I like when people talk and they have not written any statement to the effect, which means it is actually coming from the heart. And your statement regarding rooms for cooperation is very significant in our relationship, or our relationships with you, our members of the diplomatic community here in Freetown. And I also like the pledge to make clarifications on issues of mutual interest as and when they arise, because that is how we'll continue to not only deepen our existing bilateral relationship, but building confidence. We want to trust each other. We want to trust one another. So thank you very much for reassuring us of making clarifications as and when the need arises. That said, without wasting much of your time, of making clarifications as and when the need arises. That said, without wasting much of your time, I want to open the floor to other members of the diplomatic community. Yes, to other members of the diplomatic community who want to take the floor to make comments or statements. Thank you. The floor is open. Any requests?
Let me invite Excellencies to feel free and interactive. I'm your minister, your new partner, and your new friend.
Honorable Minister, so coming from the Minister, the floor is open for interactive session, please. It is intended to be interactive. Let's make it one. Thank you.
So, first I want to ask my congratulations to your honorable minister,
for your assuming of office. And China has a well-understood partnership, friends, and based on the mutual respect, mutual support, mutual beneficial cooperation, I think our relations can be regarded as an example of South-South cooperation between the government countries. And after the election, and our president Xi Jinping congratulate the message to the law, he reiterated his commitment to our relations, and he said he's ready to work closely with President Law and work with solidarity along to make our relations strong. And thank you, the Honourable Minister, for your briefing. We will have your contribution to how to improve the partnership between Taiwan and other countries. China is one of the partners. We will make some contributions to the achievement of the 5 big games, especially on some areas such as agriculture, big Salone, and infrastructure for sustainable growth, and some other areas. So, thank you very much. I look forward to working closely with the Honourable and with our relations stronger and benefit more people. So, thank you. Thank you very much.
You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Foreign Minister, for the opportunity to get together today, and also the spirit with which you've opened this session as in something that's interactive and something that's about sort of deepening the partnership. I mean, perhaps first of all, just to acknowledge the importance you've placed on bilateral relations. So the UK-Sierra Leone relationship is strong, it's enduring, it's between our two countries and our two people. It will outlive foreign ministers, high commissioners, governments, even monarchs, and it certainly is there to stay. And I also welcome the focus that you put on dialogue front and centre in terms of how the country faces challenges and opportunities, on building bridges and on the importance of diversity of views. Those things are really essential to any sort of functioning democracy. I also welcome the importance that you've placed on candour and on acknowledging it when some things need to be addressed. And I certainly, we have had the opportunity to speak one-to-one. I've appreciated frank conversations on some of the concerns the UK raised around the electoral irregularities, the importance of using state institutions to resolve grievances and to restore democracy, and the need to bring the country together. And I thank you for the conversations we've had on that. I also want to welcome acknowledgement in your remarks there that there are issues in terms of how ECSL conducted the elections and the review committee that has been announced. And certainly something that is systematic, something that builds domestic capacity when conducting this review, that has the presence of independent experts for real reassurance, and all opposition parties is very welcome. And finally, just to close, you've outlined the 5 policy priorities. It feels that the world is facing very unprecedented times. Many of those issues are ones that we are focused on too, and we certainly look forward to cooperating with the government, with opposition, with civil society, all partners to support the progress needed. If I could put one issue on your radar, Foreign Minister, these are important challenges, they're important opportunities. I find that one thing that sometimes holds the country back and consumes a lot of noise is the fake news and the misinformation that's out there. I've been certainly a victim of that myself. So if there's anything that your ministry can do to help encourage, address these issues, that would be warmly welcome. And let me close by congratulating the women that you've rightly outlined are represented today across the country. Thank you.
Excellency, thank you for your comments, and perhaps, I don't know if the Honorable Minister will want to make, please release the mic, please. Madam High Commissioner, thank you for your comments and for your pledges of support from your government, and I believe I should really give the minister the floor. I don't know if you're asking, so just speak around what she has expressed, all the issues. I don't know if we are on the same page, Honorable Minister.
She and I, we have had back-end conversations,
Okay.
and we're very much aligned with the aspirations of strengthening the relationship between the UK and Sierra Leone, looking into some of the pertinent issues that we have, that we have to address as an issue. And incidentally, His Excellency the President, like I mentioned, the State Opening of Parliament expressed his intention to establish the Electoral Systems Review Committee. It is hopeful that that committee will do a very good job, and that will help Sierra Leone to further strengthen democracy, especially the electoral process. But I want to thank you, High Commissioner, for coming personally and for us to look into how to forge our partnership for ahead, and then also to take care of the issues that are affecting our common interest. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, thank you for that feedback. The floor is still open for other members of the diplomatic community who want to make a statement. Oh, thank you, Ambassador, and Your Excellency, Ambassador of the United States of America. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister. Appreciate the opportunity to come here today and hear from you directly on your vision for relations with the international community in the second term. As you know, the United States and Sierra Leone have had a long-term positive relationship, particularly on the people-to-people level, and I'm confident that that will continue over the years. One thing I've always appreciated with the ministry is the access that I've been given to the ministry. I'm certain that that will continue under your leadership. Access even when we have issues that we need to talk about that we disagree upon. As you know, my government has had concerns about the conduct of the election and about the election results. I won't go over those again here. This is not the place for that. But I want to say I've always appreciated the fact that we can talk about these differences face to face in a civil manner. I have been in daily contact with my successor. I think that you know I'm departing in a matter of days, and the new U.S. ambassador will be here in a couple of weeks. I have taken careful notes of what you said, and I will pass these on to my successor. But again, I say thank you for this opportunity.
Yes. Thank you. Minister, I wanted to give the floor
Thank you, Excellency, for the expression of your sentiment. I do heartily wish you all the very best now that you're going, and I'm looking forward to working with your successor. The United States, like you mentioned, has been Sierra Leone's reliable partner, a long history of collaboration and cooperation, and we look forward to continuing with that collaboration with your predecessor and the government of the United States. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, thank you. Any more requests for the floor? Okay, my sister from Ghana, the Commissioner, thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Foreign Minister, and your Deputy. Ghana, you are aware, has always been with Sierra Leone. We have long-standing relations, and we have a mix of people. We have a lot of Ghanaians of Sierra Leonean origin, and the same in Sierra Leone. And as members of ECOWAS, we've always had a common vision and a common goal. What is of interest is the fact that you've taken a seat on the UN Security Council. Ghana is just stepping out of that seat, and we wish to assure you that we'll be there to help compare notes. Whatever assistance you need, Ghana is very willing because we have a practical experience, which is quite fresh also. So we just wish you very well in that endeavor. And also want to tell you that we are still the same Ghana, the same relationship with you, especially when it comes to our interest in human capital development, with specific emphasis on education, feeding programs, girl-child issues. We are more than willing to assist. And would like to also compare a few notes when it comes to mining, especially the proliferation of mining, not the very medium scale, small scale mining issues. We are available. And thank you, sir, for being so open. I'm sure there are a few other things I would like to discuss, but not in the open. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam High Commissioner, and I'm so encouraged by the reassurance that you just reminded me that you are actually existing and exiting the Security Council and we are stepping in. So to compare notes with Ghana is a good idea, and we'll continue to work with you even within ECOWAS, Africa members of the Security Council who will be picking on your brain. Thank you very much. As my minister, we want to make one or two comments on your brief intervention. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam High Commissioner. And it is indeed a great privilege for Sierra Leone to take, after immediately Ghana leaving the United Nations Security Council on the non-permanent members category. Sierra Leone and Ghana share a lot, historically, economically, and the fact that we are all in West Africa, and the fact that our people have a common heritage. It's always good for us to keep ourselves very much closer to each other and to share experiences. And you also made mention of issues around the mining sector. It happens incidentally that a few months ago, I was the Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, and I was actually in combat with issues in the mining sector that have got to do with Ghana and Sierra Leone. Previously, I engaged your predecessor. We had many discussions on combating illicit and illegal mining and trafficking of our minerals, illicit exportation of minerals from Sierra Leone and Ghana. I look forward to working with your mission and the people of Ghana to find ways to curb illicit and illegal mining and the illicit exploitation of our minerals to finance illicit activities and activities that have the tendency to disturb the peace of the world. I want to thank you, and my doors, like I have opened to all of you. I'm looking forward to collaborating with you. And like the DG mentioned, the Security Council is a very prestigious opportunity, and we would like to learn from your experiences to represent Africa in the most effective way possible. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, thank you for your reaction. The floor is still open. Please.
Thank you, ma'am. Not sure it works. I will raise my voice. Honorable Minister, thank you very much thank you. Honorable Minister, thank you very much for your kind invitation and also for your openness with us. We are grateful for that. As you know, the European Union is a long-standing partner of Sierra Leone, and we will continue to be a partner of Sierra Leone. We will continue to work for the people of Sierra Leone, with the people of Sierra Leone. We also appreciate the opportunity to continue to have a frank dialogue and honest exchange with your government on issues of common interest. As you know, in the past we have had a high-level political dialogue, and we appreciate the opportunity to continue to have that frank and honest dialogue with your government. We also consider that it's important to have the opportunity to speak openly about issues that are of importance for both of us. Concerning the recent elections, as you know, the European Union deployed an EU electoral observation mission, and we are expecting that the EU electoral observation mission will present its final report very soon. And this final report will contain some recommendations, as we have done in the past, on the improvement of electoral processes in this country. And we appreciate very much, as you have mentioned, your readiness, your openness to implement electoral recommendations and to continue to implement electoral recommendations aimed at strengthening electoral processes in this country. We also appreciate what you mentioned about the importance of dialogue in the country, of finding ways to strengthen dialogue among the different Sierra Leonean actors in trying to find a common ground, a way forward among different Sierra Leonean actors. And we think this is of paramount importance. And we also appreciate the importance that you have given to supporting peace and security in the region. We congratulate Sierra Leone for its election as member of the UN Security Council, and we look forward to working with Sierra Leone as member of the UN Security Council in support of peace and security in the region in the next months. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank this representative of the EU and Honorable Minister. I see the mic is already on. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. We value our relationship with the European Union, especially in the promotion of peace and security in the world, and also for the promotion of human capital development. And we are more than ready to continue with this relationship. And I'm looking forward to the presentation of those recommendations from the EU observation team that was in Sierra Leone, which will help us to further strengthen our capacity to conduct independent, free and fair elections for the people of this country. And let me also seize this opportunity to thank the Honorable Ambassador from the People's Republic of China for pledging your support to the President's 5-year changes, especially in the area of feed Salone agriculture. It is very important, and we believe our peace and security begins with independence such as food sufficiency, food security. It is very important. So we take your support very kindly, and we look forward to our cooperation with your country. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. The floor is still open for any other comments or interventions. I don't see any further request for the floor. So I want to thank, on behalf of the Minister, I want to represent Dr. Kanda Yonkela. You are welcome to the ministry. Thank you for joining us today at this very important engagement with members of the diplomatic corps. So, community, for joining us this morning and to just reassure them that whatever has been said here by our minister, they pledge to continue frank conversation, open door policy, building bridges and strengthening partnerships will be adhered to. So feel free, you can call, knock on our doors at any time, and we will have the full support of the minister, her deputy, and of course my humble self, the director general, and the entire membership of this ministry. So that said, once more, thank you. And I will invite all of you to a family photo session. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Ladies and gentlemen, please come up to the frontage of the ministry to take a family photo.